Welcome, everyone, to the Marketing Vanguard Leading Voices in B2B Innovation. I'm Paula Chiocchi, your host, founder and CEO of Outward Media. Today, we're fortunate to have Kenton Knoepfler. I hope I said that. And he is the VP of Audience Practice at IPG Media Brands. So welcome, Kenton. Thank you for taking the time to visit with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Paula. I'm really excited to chat through a little bit of what we do and talk about marketing and advertising and audiences.
All that good stuff that we've been involved in for years. And IPG obviously is a big behemoth in the field. So again, we're welcome to have you. So I'm going to dive in. So first question, how are you approaching audience targeting today?
I think the first consideration we take when thinking about audience targeting is taking a look at the client's product and their goals, and then really working with that strategy team by asking those pointed questions to determine the direction we really want to recommend. It's my job, my team's job to be those consultants for our internal agency partners here at IPG Media Brands. So we'll ask really interesting questions or questions to get to the root of what they're trying to do. So, example, are we doing outreach to current clients and leveraging first-party data? And if so, how is that data collected and is it relevant to the campaign at hand? Is it even accurate data? Is it full of bots? And then do we want to, of course, supplement that first-party data with any additional audience segments or segmentation, perhaps using cluster analysis? And then, of course, when we're working with third-party data, sometimes that can be the goal of the client. I want to reach new customers. I want to reach people interested in my client and my business. We really review which data partners are going to add the most value for our clients' goals. Who are they trying to reach, and what from our rich vein of Axiom info-based connected audience partners makes the most sense for that specific client.
Okay.
And then, of course, when it comes to engagement, that second part of your question, we definitely work with our strategy teams to help on their activation goals and review the KPIs that the client wants to measure. Are they looking to just drive awareness? Is it app downloads? Are they trying to compete against competitors and conquer competitor users? Are they looking to drive in-store purchases? And from there, we can really work to adjust our audiences to match those campaign goals and to make sure that we're hitting the client's KPIs.
Are you seeing equal between brand awareness and performance? Or are you seeing a shift to performance, or how are you guys seeing it today?
I think it's quite a bit more. I think it's about equal. No, let's say it's equal. Certain brands they all have goals, right? A brand like T-Mobile, for example, they're trying to conquest people who from Verizon and AT&T because everyone has a cell phone. So they're not necessarily trying to get people to convert in general. They're trying to compete with people who are on other plans or upsell their own current customers. For them, there's conquest, but a lot of that is about branding. Do they have a better deal? Is it better pricing? Is it better network availability? Because it's not necessarily an easy thing to get people to switch from one provider to another.
No, I've actually been saying it's been a race to the bottom for the last few years in the telco space.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, the pricing is a major consideration for users, and they're trying to get the best deal. There's all these new providers coming into play, like the Spectrums and Comcast and Cox cable companies of the world are moving into mobile as well. So it's gotten a lot more fractured and complicated for those users.
But makes your job harder.
It does. It absolutely does. It's definitely, it's more diverse, right? In terms of trying to reach those users and what's really going to push the needle for the client. A lot of people wouldn't necessarily say they're in market to switch providers until they see the deal, right? So there's that consideration that has to come into play. And but there are other brands, I don't know, like maybe a retailer or a specific, like an alcohol brand that are trying to drive those in-store sales, right? They're trying to, especially like an alcohol brand, people don't really buy alcohol over the internet as much as there are brands that do that, right?
Not as much, though.
Not as much. Yeah, I think most alcohol purchases take place in store. And how do you drive that? Is that kind of brand awareness, right? And really honing in on your target audience and making sure that they understand, like knowing who you're currently selling to, but then also segmenting that out, right? Like having a brand for every different type of audience that you're trying to reach, right? Are you trying to reach Hispanic individuals, or are you trying to reach Hispanic families, or are you trying to reach like more general market audiences with,
Mhm.
but maybe with a higher, trying to get them to upgrade from a higher tier to a higher tier wine from one of your lower
Yes,
tier wines,
yes.
right? So there's definitely that complexity in terms of what we're doing and how we go about record audiences that are going to push the needle for our clients.
And are you doing social media and programmatic for these?
Yeah, so I'm on being on the audience side. Our audiences are applicable, and we push them out to social media. We
Okay,
push them out to programmatic partners, as well as I think direct as well.
okay,
So we work with LiveRamp, as well as of course we have our own product called Cascade,
okay.
which helps us get the best match rates and get as much scale and reach to our audiences as possible.
Awesome.
Hmm?
So, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in implementing new marketing innovations, and how have you all tackled it?
Uh, I think some of the biggest challenges right now are getting all partners on board,
Okay,
right?
herding cats, right?
It is a lot of herding cats. There's a lot of education that goes into play. You're trying to educate everyone from the client to the team doing any segmentation or working with the direct audiences, working with the strategy team on what their goals are and what they're trying to sell through to the client, to the activation team so they understand what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it, anything that they can add on their end. And all these various components require investment, right? Which definitely can take away from how much money you can spend in activation, right? And of course, require collaboration in order to work. Sometimes those budgets and capabilities don't have flexibility to include factors that would generally lead to greater success. So we have to work within the world of caveats of what is possible with our current partners or with our current setup and what we'd like to do, and work with those partners to push them to innovate and to think creatively so that we can get done for the clients what we're trying to do. So that's, I think, one of the bigger challenges. It's just living in a world of what we can do and what we versus what we'd like to do.
Like to do. Do
Yeah.
you find your clients are more receptive to you trying to be innovative and come up with new strategies and ways to do things? Are they
Yeah,
receptive?
I think that's actually one of the main benefits of working with an ad agency instead of having a lot of team members in-house, which of course a lot of brands have been working in-house a lot of their programmatic and data work, which makes a lot of sense. Data requires privacy
Mhm.
and wanting to make sure that the only the right permissions are going to the right people. So we understand that, but an agency has the benefit of working with lots of different brands, lots of different types of work, lots of different activations and executions, which brings a richness to opportunities to inform your client, to try new
Right,
things,
right.
to try things that have been tried before by other clients and by other teams. And so that way you can work with to push your client forward and to try opportunities and try activations that they may not have considered.
As fast as things are moving today as compared to even 5 years ago, and with the inclusion now or people branching out and trying AI,
Yeah.
have you guys pulled AI in at all?
We have, yeah.
Okay.
So IPG Media Brands and our Kinesso partners have built a product called Interact, which is basically our all-in-one advertising and marketing engine.
Okay.
We have an audience console, we've got branding consoles, creative consoles, strategy consoles, and all these consoles are leveraging a really talented AI. We're partnering with an AI company to support us
Okay.
and they're able to build creative for decks and like showcase the client what we can do
Okay.
or where our thought process is going. We can work with, of course, in the audience console where I specialize, we can create audiences, but manually, or we can ask our AI to make suggestions on
Yeah.
what we would based on what we're trying to do and who we're trying to reach, which can be very
And you
helpful.
train the AI because it gets used to you and what you're trying to
Exactly.
do.
Yeah, the more it gets used, the better it gets. And of course, it's working within our own taxonomies and the different audience segments that we have available across all of our connected audiences. It requires a little bit more work. So having some of that expertise in terms of just what partners are better for what
Mhm.
activations can be really important. But it can be really helpful and to showcase just and then to use that reporting and that we have in there to showcase who these audiences are and to really explain to the client why they're relevant, as well as provide some insight into creative strategy, activation strategy, where we're going to try and reach these users based off of who they are, which can be really interesting.
And then you're using AI at the platform level to build the audiences? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
So,
pretty exciting, isn't it?
yeah, it is neat. It's a little worrying,
Yeah.
I think, to anybody that works in these type of roles because the AI is very good. If
Yeah.
anyone's ever spent any time with ChatGPT, I'm going,
Yep.
oh man,
Yep.
I
I
thought I was
have.
good at writing email, right?
It's better than I am, trust me.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very talented, especially when you're trying to write some complicated
Mhm.
communications. It can be really helpful. So we definitely are. I don't think anyone's cautious. I think we are going full force into
Mhm.
how to use AI and in leveraging the capabilities that AI has to make our jobs both easier, more strategic, more actionable. But it's a tool, and it's a tool
Yeah.
that requires more and more practice to use as we go about our work every day.
I'm thinking about 2 years from now, where's it going to be?
I
As
know, like,
fast as it's moving, right?
yeah, it's moving really fast. It's definitely working exponentially.
Yeah, we love it.
Every new release comes out, and you're like,
Whoa.
wow, that's crazy
Yeah,
what it can do and what it can produce, both from written word to understanding complex needs and or complex questions, to also just like creative work. Like
creative. Yeah,
I'm watching
copy.
videos that are being made
Yeah,
by AI.
yeah.
It's nuts.
The
Very
copy that
cool.
copywriting everything.
We've
So,
actually seen. I was at a conference last week where they were using AI to do product placement in already created videos, and they want to move into programmatic product placement and in already created IP. And I'm going to in my head, they are going to get sued so hard.
no.
I can't imagine Steven Spielberg doesn't want to get paid for Coca-Cola being in his product.
Ooh,
So that'll be an
yeah, that's
interesting.
a new frontier.
Yeah, so that'll
So,
be very interesting to see how it works. But it was very kind of seamless and compelling and interesting. If you could change out that can of Diet Coke for a can of Diet Pepsi, that could be very compelling if you're buying that live and it's running on your Disney Plus
yeah,
subscription as
yeah,
you're watching the latest episode of The Mandalorian,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It could be
yeah,
very cool.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's a lot of really, and they're using AI to do some of that
yeah.
creative optimization and to make sure that those products look and feel relevant and accurate. So
And
it's
and
neat.
real,
It's really
right?
neat, but
Yeah,
terrifying.
I like I said, I feel like it's a new frontier, and you're probably right. We're going to see some lawsuits and things around things that people aren't thinking about, but
Yeah, they are. They're hoping that like you can skip past the radar here
yeah,
and make it
right.
as funny as possible, and then we'll be too big to fail. But
Yeah,
wow, it's
I
I
don't
was
know
like,
about that
this is a
one.
lawsuit. Not just watching, this is probably a lawsuit.
Yeah.
It'll be
So,
interesting. Yeah.
where do you see the biggest opportunity for growth in B2B marketing right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. B2B marketing is really focused on reaching those major decision makers, right?
Mhm.
At businesses, right? And
Mhm.
it's incredibly important. Companies spend millions of dollars every year on sales teams, and in as well as of course their marketing efforts and really trying to work on building compelling cases to sell their products. I really think the greatest opportunities in B2B marketing right now, they lie in the ability to leverage known quantities, the who, why, where of the client's goals, and then apply them to multiple communication and marketing efforts to really provide that 360 all-in strategy for moving the needle with target audiences that are otherwise pretty inundated with communications and offers. Like that decision maker at a major company is not only getting B2B marketing, they're getting really tailored general market CPG ads and auto ads and financial services ads that are targeting them for their business. And so, really, the ability to customize audiences so that you can drive both scale and precision is super important to effective marketing communication campaigns. So, working with a partner who has that capability and can support you across all levels of those campaigns and of course with the same audience is is really key. I think we find that there's a lot of marketing SaaS solutions on the market
Mhm.
nowadays, and they can support all of your email, direct mail, white paper, advertising, and sales communications. But of the core of all of that is the proper and data safe use of both your first party and any third party data that you're using.
For sure.
What's important with these solutions that you want to ensure that your communications are consistent and that you're really working strategically to push your users down the funnel based on engagement and interest, and you're not inundating them and spending money reaching
Mhm.
them if they don't have interest, if your product's not a fit. And therefore, you're really helping set up your marketing strategy for success and driving efficiency and effectiveness at every level of the
Very
marketing
little.
funnel.
Are you seeing at IPG any blending between the B2B and the B2C persona yet?
I don't work with a lot of B2B brands myself. So most of my brands are B2C, though we do occasionally work with B2B brands. And a lot of the strategy does overlap, right? Like we're all working through a purchase funnel, we're all working through that consideration mindset. And how do you drive people from awareness to consideration to pricing to sales, right?
Mhm.
B2B is a little bit more complicated because there are generally more sales teams and your product's not on a grocery store shelf.
Right,
And so packaging and shelf space isn't necessarily a huge consideration for,
right,
for B2B
right,
marketers. But I do think that there has to be a little bit more brand building and really driving to help drive that consideration, right? Get really comfortable when they know that a brand is safe to work with, that they're effective. Salesforce, for example, has a golden halo because people have been working with it for years. People know about this product. They've got conferences and trade shows, and they're
yeah,
doing all these different marketing efforts to reach their core demographic, which is marketing and sales decision
right,
makers within organizations, right? At least for their core product. But it takes a long time and a lot of investment to get that brand halo and to get to a point where, and there's a lot of different solutions out there that are striving for the same
right,
thing.
right.
Um,
The
and trying to
incumbent,
reach the same people. And
yeah.
but once you have that brand halo, it's really important, one, to maintain it, right, against all the
Mhm.
competitive, but then also to continue to innovate, continue to drive stronger and better and more effective solutions for your clients, which continues that virtuous cycle for you.
Well, and there's always been an old saying, I don't know if you've heard it, that nobody ever got fired for buying IBM.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
So
Like
to your point about brand halo, right?
it's exactly it. If you've been around for a while and you've seen continued investment, and you've seen continued growth, it's that those are huge. That's
Mhm.
huge for just a company's reputation and that's the reputation of their solutions to drive value for their clients. And that's something that even small agencies can do. It's just having those case studies, having the or what small suppliers can do is having strong case studies with brands that and clients and products that kind of match your goals as well. So having that diversity of experience, both B2B as well as B2C, can be really helpful for these SaaS and data companies as they think about how they can drive value and how they can get picked up by their clients.
We had one of our clients tell us recently that the reason they liked the crosswalk from B2B to B2C understand their persona as who they are as an individual versus their job title and role was
Mhm.
to be able to perform generational marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the messaging, how they're going to hit the Gen Z versus the Gen X.
Yeah.
How are you going to talk to them?
That's a great
Yeah.
point, right? Is being able to segment your audiences and then tailor your communication
Mhm.
to those audiences, right? If you're going to try and reach Hispanic audience users, it might make sense to do your creative in Spanish and to tailor your marketing to this very specific Hispanic American experience in America.
Mhm.
And the same goes with trying to reach boomers versus Gen Z versus
Mhm.
millennials, right? They have different perspectives, different
Totally.
experiences, and different funds
Right.
as we've seen
Good
in this
point.
market, right? Gen Z people aren't generally buying Lexuses, right? But they need to have a long history of brand awareness and brand halo. Who, when they are in the market to buy a Lexus, they can afford one to make them consider Lexus versus Mercedes versus
Right.
Audi. That's something that you want to consider over a long period of time, but you want to reach the right Gen Z team members,
Mhm.
right? People who
Mhm.
are going to have those funds later on in life, and as opposed to thinking mass scale. Now, granted, a car company, there's a halo that comes with, we keep talking about halos, but there's a halo that comes with just knowing about a brand and everyone being like, oh, that's a nice car, right?
Mhm.
And that's part of the reason people buy those nice cars. Otherwise, there's less value there for them, for the buyer to pay that premium. But these are all considerations that the marketers need to take in as they work through their strategy and what they're trying to do.
As we're closing out on our time here,
Yeah.
do you have a bold prediction that you can make about the future of BD marketing in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, this is an area that everyone always says they're going to have a solution at the conference. They said, oh, we're going to have a great solution. but we're working on a solution here. But I think there's currently a lot of pressure on data providers to get really more exact with their audiences.
Mhm.
The balance between scale and precision is such a weird area of conflict. Marketers obviously want precision in who they're trying to reach. I don't want to spend money reaching anybody that's not going to buy my product, right?
Mhm.
But the audience provider makes their money based on scale. They sell on a CPM for the most part. So they're going to try and boost that data audience or that audience segment so they can increase the number of
Yeah.
unique users that they can provide. My prediction over the next 3 to 5 years, maybe 10 years,
Mhm.
unfortunately, because it is such a complicated space, is that that new tech and audience resolution will enable someone to come into market and be able to accurately measure their audience's contribution to a marketing strategy with overarching MM post campaign analysis. And so that even as complex and diverse as all the marketing activations we were talking about, from email to direct mail to digital ads, digital video, mobile, all those things. That way they'd be able to finally charge clients on a CPA instead of a CPM, reversing the trend of watered down data audiences and making it we only need 100 people because they're all going to convert and charge on a CPA. I think that'd be a really neat place to see the business go, but I don't know.
Have you guys
It require
experimented?
some tech. Yeah.
Have you guys experimented with the CPA model at IPG?
We've not. No,
Okay.
it's still a ways off. It's really hard to determine how audiences perform free from the creative,
Mhm.
free from the activation that the strategy team put together, free from who we're trying, the overarching offer that maybe a brand like T-Mobile is putting out there. So I think what's the age-old marketing thing is like, I know 50% of my advertising is working. I just don't know.
50%.
Yeah, it's still that balance between art and science, interestingly enough. And of course, we're using the data to be better data-driven leaders
Mhm.
and to make strategic investments based off of data and based off of performance data. But it is definitely an area where there's an opportunity to be able to provide strong information on just how the audiences themselves perform. It's definitely not like instead of an A/B test, let's do it like live. How does this audience perform live? What can we make optimizations? Can we make live to audiences just the way we make optimizations to programmatic AI or the data? How do we make optimizations to the audience itself based off of what we're able to see in terms of performance?
I'm wondering if we'll see the day where it just does that automatically with the AI and potentially with intent data just all on the fly. I'm wondering.
Yeah, it'll be very cool. It's still very segmented right now. And yeah, but to have AI say, oh, you know what, this email campaign is working better. Let's just shift more funds into that and reaching more users that way. And maybe
And quicker.
and quicker. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Instead of
Yeah.
having to like sit and wait and
Yeah.
see how it performs over time, it's able to make those decisions off of
On
very
the
little actual performance data, as opposed to it's still very siloed. Like programmatic platforms are fairly good at making those optimizations, but everything else needs a little time, right? Like direct mail is still slow, but still
yeah.
very effective,
It,
right?
it
So
works.
yeah,
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
So
And,
how do
and
we
in combination with all the other channels.
exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do we make those how do we continue to push successful activations and reinvest those marketing dollars or invest efficiencies that we're able to find or able to determine live. That'd be really cool, especially in the world of audience, where I specialize. I think that'd be a really neat thing to be able to start pinpointing what activations are performing better or what audiences are working better based off of the actual performance.
Well, I think with our discussion on AI, I probably need to do a check-in with you in the next 6 to 8 months and see where we are then.
Yeah, that sounds great. I definitely trying to stay up on top of it, mostly for job security
Yeah,
purposes. I
right.
got to upskill here to make sure that I am always just one step ahead of,
Don't want to get left behind.
ChatGPT.
Don't want to get
Yeah,
left
but it's
behind.
fun. It's a nice challenge, and of course, it is a great tool to use at the moment.
It
So we're trying our best.
Kenton, you've been a wealth of knowledge today. Thank you so much. And I'm serious about checking in with you no more than a year from now about AI and see where we stand then. We'll
Yeah,
have a lot
I
to
think
talk about.
that'd be a really fun conversation. Yeah, and see where we're at and see how much it's changed in just over a year. Because it's like I said, it's so exponential. How wow,
Fast it's going.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, 3 years ago,
I
no one
know.
was talking about this. So
Nobody was
crazy.
talking about it.
Yeah. So it's neat.
Okay, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I
Thank you,
appreciate
Paula, for
you.
having me. I had a great
Okay,
time. So yeah, looking forward to seeing this and all the other podcasts that you guys put together here and working with
okay.
you guys. Oh, of course, working with you guys soon.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.